may be found.
That's right. Amen.
Call ye upon him while he is near.
Amen. Amen.
Let the wicked forsake his way, and the man of iniquity his thoughts. And let him return unto Yah, and he will have compassion upon him. And to our Elohim, for he will abundantly pardon.
The Most High is saying here, I like to think of this as he's making it a visual for us, that his way is like a path. So don't just think of it literally, but to think of it kind of physically too, as a way to understand what he's saying. And when you're on a path, you know, just like when Dorothy was going down the yellow brick road, right? She had to stay on that to get to her goal. And when you're walking on a path, the further away that you stray from that, the harder it is to come back. And the easier it is for you to get lost. So, and when you stray just a little bit, you're not that far from it. So what he's saying is, when you start veering off and straying to the side, that's when I'm still close.
That's right.
And that's when you need to find your way back to me. Don't wait until you get so far gone that, you know, you're in all the brambles and everything else and you can't figure out how to get back. So try to come back to me as quickly as possible and stop making your own way, and because the way that I've already set out for you is clear and it's easy. You make it more difficult for yourself when you stray off that. So what he's saying here is, you know, stay close, stay on the path, and stop trying to make your own way.
For my thoughts are not your thoughts.
Amen.
Neither are your ways my ways, saith Yah. For as the heaven are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts.
So this ties back to what he's saying in verse 7. He said, let the wicked forsake his way, and the man of iniquity his thoughts. And then he's telling us, my thoughts are not your thoughts, and your ways are not my ways. That he's so far above us that it's like that old MC Hammer song, you can't touch this. So he's like, you can't touch me, right? We're so separated that you don't think the same way I do, and I'm not coming down to your level. So you need to come to me. I'm not coming to you. So that's what he's saying here, is that we don't think the same way, and that you need to elevate your thinking and your actions to get closer to me.
For as the rain cometh down and the snow from heaven, and returneth not thither, except it water the earth, and make it bring forth and bud, and give seed to the shower, and bread to the eater, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, except it accomplish that which I please, and make the thing whereto I sent it prosper.
So this is really simple. He's basically saying that he's not like us. The Most High isn't a man where he breaks his promises. Once he makes the promise, people always say my word is bond. His word is bond. His is the only word that is guaranteed. We break promises all the time, and the Most High never breaks his promises.
For ye shall go out with joy, and be led forth with peace. The mountains and the hills shall break forth before you into singing, and all the trees of the field shall clap their hands. Instead of the thorn shall come up cypress. Instead of the briar shall come up the myrtle. And it shall be unto Jehovah for a memorial, for an everlasting sign that shall not be cut off.
So he's still just continuing the same message, that if you follow the path that he lays out for you, he's going to make it smooth. He's going to make it easy. He's going to make it blessed. All of the obstacles that are going to get in your way when you stray are not going to be there on the path that I've laid out for you. So you shall go out with joy and be led forth with peace. We all want joy and peace, right? So just stay on the path that he's laid out for us to follow.
Thus saith Yah, keep ye justice and do righteousness, for my salvation is near to come, and my favor to be revealed. Happy is the man that doeth this, and the son of man that holdeth fast by it, that keepeth the Shabbat from profaning it, and keepeth his hand from doing any evil.
None of us knows what the future has for us.
That's right.
We don't know if and when that next blessing is around the corner.
Say that.
So what he's saying here is, my salvation is near to come and my favor is to be revealed. We should always position ourselves to be in a place to receive that blessing.
Say it.
You don't want to be caught out there where you're doing something and that's when your blessing was just getting ready to come, but you're in the middle of doing something that you shouldn't be. So always try to be, living a life of righteousness so that whenever he's planning that next blessing for you, you're in a position to receive it and to deserve it.
Amen.
I also like to think that when he says happy is the man, happy to me means content,
Right.
that you're in a place of peace.
Right.
Because you don't have anything to fear. You know that you're doing the right thing and that you're content in that place and knowing that the Most High is with you.
Amen.
Neither let the alien that have joined himself unto Yahweh speak, saying, Yahweh will surely separate me from his people. Neither let the eunuch say, Behold, I am a dry tree. For thus saith Yah, concerning the eunuchs that keep my Shabbat, and choose the things that please me, and hold fast by my covenant. Even unto them will I give in my house, and within my walls, a mountain and a memorial.
Monument.
A monument and a memorial. Better than sons and daughters. And I will give them an everlasting memorial that shall not be cut off.
Hallelujah.
Also the aliens, let them join themselves to Yahweh, to minister to him, and to love the name of Yah, to be his servants. Everyone that keepeth the Shabbat from profaning it, and hold it fast by my covenant.
So what the Most High is expressing here is that he is an all-inclusive power.
Amen.
We go to all-inclusive resorts on vacation. He's an all-inclusive power. He's not eliminating or excluding anybody.
Right.
So when we go back to verse 2, it doesn't say happy is the Israelite. It says happy is the man.
Right.
So it's universal. It applies to everybody. And he looks beyond the surface.
That's right.
And we tend to look at the surface.
Right.
Or we only look at the surface. We don't look as deeply as the Most High looks, which is good, to know that he is looking beyond what's on the outside. And that's exactly going back to verse 8 in chapter 55, why he said, my thoughts are not your thoughts,
right.
your ways are not my ways. He doesn't think like us. He doesn't act like us. And so that's a blessing because we are judgmental and we tend to see and look at things on the outside, and he doesn't do that. He's welcoming everybody. Even he's saying the eunuchs, so that he's talking about people that are barren, that they're part of his house if they're following his law. And that even though they're not able to have children, he's going to bless them with more than just having children. That his blessings are going to be better than sons and daughters. Amen.
Amen.
Even them will I bring to my holy mountain.
There you go.
And make them joyful in my house of prayer. Their burnt offerings and their sacrifices shall be acceptable upon mine altar.
Amen.
For my house shall be called a house of prayer for all people. Saith Yahweh Elohim, who gathered the dispersed of Israel. Yet I will gather others to him, beside those of him that are gathered.
So he's saying that, like he said, my house is a house of prayer for all people. So anyone who is righteous and following this way of life and loves him is welcome in his house. And that we have to make room. We have to know and understand that there's more than enough of the Most High to go around for everybody. This law can go around for everybody, and that we can't hoard it and act like this is just for us, that it's for everybody. So that is the portion. It was pretty simple. I hope that it gives you some understanding and insight into the Most High. Before I wrap up, there's just one thing that I wanted to tie back to, going back to verse 1 of chapter 56. Keep ye justice and do righteousness. And I want to bring that up to present day. We've all seen what happened with the trial this week for Botham Jean's murderer, that's what I call her. And I think it's so important, even though we may not agree with the outcomes of the sentencing, it's a step forward, because so many times we are in the defendant's seat, or we are the victim, and there is no justice. The fact that this made it past an indictment, that it made it to a conviction, is progress. And I think a big part of that is, I don't know how many of you actually saw or read what the makeup of the jury was, but 10 of them were people of color.
That's right.
2 of them were white. And I think it is so important for there to be representation of us on the juries. Earlier this year, I got my very first jury summons for North Carolina. I've been here 17 years now and never got called for jury duty until June. And they scheduled me for July when I was on vacation, so I had a deferment. And that deferment is Monday. And at first I was like, you're like, oh, this is such an inconvenience. But somebody said something once that I thought, you know what, that makes perfect sense. And they were like, don't try to get out of jury duty. We need representation on juries. And I was like, that is so true. Because we have to do what we can to try to balance those scales.
That's right.
So many times, like I said, we're the ones that are the victims, we're the ones that are in the defendant's seat, and if you remember the movie A Time to Kill with Samuel Jackson, and he looks over at the jury box and it's all white, and he leans over to his attorney and he says something like, that's supposed to be a jury of my peers. And that's the same thing that we're living in. That was a movie, but it's reality.
Right.
And I want to make sure that we try to do what we can, like the book says, to keep justice and do righteousness. So if the opportunity comes for us to serve, so that someone in that seat or the family of a victim can look at that jury box and see us and know that we're going to try to do right in that case, that we need to try to fulfill that duty. So in addition to the message that Isaiah had for us, that's our message for us as well. And pray that you all have a blessed Shabbat.
Let us give Kamaniyah another round of applause. Thank God for her words, and they're truly uplifting. This portion, if you look at it, Cohane, Shade and I were speaking just while we were sitting there, this is definitely a portion which fits into the season. As it rightfully begins, seek ye Yahweh while he may be found. And it's the message that we've been putting out there ever since. This is a time for us to soul search and consider the Creator and his hand in this earth. As Kamaniyah mentioned, the case which took place this week and all that's happening in these lands and many other countries. It's important that we watch the news and we're aware of what's going on around the world. There are people starving in countries. Our people are being mistreated in so many other places outside of America. And if you're not paying attention to the news and looking at these things and aware of what's happening, you won't even consider this or won't even know about it. And in our prayers, we need to pray for families that are going through so much, not just outside in the world, but even in Israel and what's happening in different Israelite communities around here. We have to keep one another in our prayers, because our prayers is what's going to help one another. It's what's going to help our families. And it's what's going to cause the Creator to see our condition and our situation and interject, become involved in what's happening. It was our prayers that that caused the Most High to intervene in Egypt. We were going through so much where we were just praying day in and day out. And those prayers is what the Most High heard and said, you know what? Now it's time for me to intervene and do something about this. If we're okay with our situation and we're not praying to him and we're operating like nothing's wrong, he'll say, all right, let them stay there. They seem to be okay. They don't need me. They're not calling on me. This is what we have to do, not just in this season, but throughout our lives. We have to call on the Creator so that he can see our condition and our situation and so that he can become involved. Again, I would like to thank Kamaniyah. Thank God for the word. We always see the same things at the right time, the right way. And when she come up and speak, I just look and listen because she doesn't say enough to me. I told her that before. You need to come up here and speak a little more often. But it's good to hear from her. And I thank the Creator for the times that he does put it on her ruach or her spirit to speak to us. It's always in a timely fashion. Blessed be the name of God. If you would be our honor and let us sing the song Ha Torah to Sidrah to close the book of the Lord. May Yah give us understanding and may he remember us during this season and continue to bring us closer to him. Blessed be his name. Song Ha Torah on page 6 in our Sidrah. Ha Torah, whereby shall we return unto thee, for thy word to be fulfilled by thy Lord, in our hearts it is to be. Ha Torah, Ha Torah, Segor Ha Torah, oh, how can we draw closer to each other in the state of true righteousness? By thy Lord, is the only way we Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Let us join our voices to sing the song Jerusalem. Amen. On page 2 in our song books. Amen. By the rivers of Babylon, yeah, we sat down and we cried. When we remember Jerusalem, we were sick, God there to die. Oh, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, Hallelujah. Let us sing Ha'azinali on page 6. In this season, may God give ear to our prayers, our cries, our plea. When we call upon His name, may He hear us. May He even forgive us and even find us acceptable before Him. The song Ha'azinali on page 6. Ha'azinali, Ani Aveta, Ani Omed, Ole Faneka, Ka'asherani, Marki, Me'ayef, Ozekra Elek, Ka'el Yahuwah. Zadik Devorka, Hakmatoraka, Yire Kakamu, Rosele Modbo, Shemu Akali, Wekol Mishpati, Asi Homego, Verokat Shalom. Mino Telekem, Mino Temayem, Mima Akila, Boko Hazman, Meleka Olam, Bore Haaretz, U'Moshienu, Shemo Yahuwah. Oh Yahuwah. Oh Yahweh. Israel, let's glorify Jehovah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Come on, Israel. Come on, Israel, let's glorify Jehovah. Come on, Israel, let's glorify Jehovah. Come on, Israel, let's glorify Jehovah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. I will serve God. I will serve God with all my soul. I will serve God with all my soul. I will serve God with all my soul. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. I will serve God with all my soul. I will serve God with all my soul. I will serve God with all my soul. Hallelujah! 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 You may be seated. We thank you to the Holy One of Israel for his continued love and kindness. This time I would like to call upon our Shabbat breakfast queen, one who makes it possible, first of the month, along with Cohane and so many others who help her out, her energy and drive to be here and serve Yah, whatever way she can. Keeping a smile on families, individuals' faces, and helping these youth that so many of us need to continue to do in this nation, find a way to give back to Yah, our people, and this is how the Creator gives to you. And the Most High see your desire and your interest to do for others as you would have Him do for you. Let us at this time welcome to read for us the beautiful 8th proverb, our sister Hayat. Hallelujah.
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 Giving all honor and praise unto Jehovah, the King of the universe, the God of our ancient forefathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob.
Amen.
Thanking Him for my life this day.
Hallelujah.
Thanking Him for the life of everyone here this day. Thanking Him for the life of my family. Praying that He would continue to be with my Ima and my Abba and my son. I would like to thank everyone for their generous donations this month. We had a very nice spread this morning, so I would like to thank everyone for participating month after month. We're coming up on a year soon.
Nice. Oh, okay.
And I would like to thank the Most High for Him to even giving me the drive, to even be steadfast in the work of providing a breakfast for the community. It is a chief joy to do it, and I would like to thank Cohane for even entrusting me in completing the task of breakfast.
So that to you.
I would like to thank all my helpers. Yadea, she was a big help this morning. Kaziel with the smoothies, and even a big thank you to Grand Alicia for even cleaning up. Okay, so the 8th Proverbs. Doth not wisdom call, and understanding put forth her voice? In the top of high places by the way, where the path meets she standeth. Beside the gates at the entry of the city, at the coming in at the door she crieth aloud. Unto you, O men, I call, and my voice is to the sons of men. O ye thoughtless, understand prudence, and ye fools, be ye of an understanding heart. Hear, for I will speak excellent things, for the opening of my lips shall be right things, for my mouth shall utter truth, and wickedness is an abomination to my lips. All the words of my mouth are in righteousness. There is nothing perverse or crooked in them. They are all plain to him that understandeth, and right to them that find knowledge. Receive my instructions, and not silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold. For wisdom is better than rubies, and all things desirable are not to be compared unto her. I, wisdom, dwell with prudence, and find out knowledge of devices. The fear of Jehovah is to hate evil, pride and arrogancy and the evil way, and the forward mouth do I hate. Counsel is mine and sound wisdom. I am understanding, power is mine. By me kings reign and princes decree justice. By me princes rule and nobles, even all the judges of the earth. I love them that love me, and those that seek me earnestly shall find me. Riches and honor are with me, yea, enduring riches and righteousness. My fruit is better than gold, yea, than fine gold, and my produce than choice silver. I walk in the way of righteousness in the midst of the paths of justice, that I may cause those that love me to inherit substance, and that I may fill their treasuries. Jehovah made me as the beginning of his way, and the first of his works of old. I was set up from everlasting, from the beginning, or ever the earth was.
When there was no depths, I was brought forth. When there were no fountains abounding with water, before the mountains were settled, before the hills was I brought forth. While as yet he had not made the earth, nor the fields, nor the beginning of the dust of the world. When he established the heavens, I was there. When he set a circle upon the face of the deep. When he made firm the skies above, that the fountains of the deep showed their might. When he gave to the sea his decree that the waters should not transgress his commandment. When he appointed the foundation of the earth, then I was by him as a nursling, and I was daily all delight, playing always before him, playing in his habitable earth, and my delights are with the sons of men. Now therefore, ye children, hearken unto me, for happy are they that keep my ways. Hear instructions and be wise, and refuse it not. Happy is the man that hearkeneth to me, watching daily at my gates, waiting at the posts of my doors. For whoso findeth me findeth life, and obtaineth favor of Jehovah. But he that misses me wrongeth his own soul. All they that hate me love death.
Hallelujah.
Once again, thanking Jehovah for my life.
Amen.
And the life of all of Israel in the four corners of the earth. I just want to thank everyone who are obliged to wear pink in awareness of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Breast cancer awareness has always been something that I recognized from since I was a young girl, because I had issues, during time of development, and then I have family history of breast cancer. My grandmother had breast cancer. My aunt died from complications of breast cancer. So breast cancer really is in the earth, and the numbers are growing, and that's due to not being what's the word I want to say? Proactive. Not being proactive with your wellness, not being proactive when you have signs and symptoms of things, and we have to learn to trust the Most High. We have to learn to trust doctors. We have to learn to trust, to have the wherewithal to learn about these different diseases so that you know what you're looking for, and when an imbalance comes, you can be able to detect it. So I would just like to thank everyone who participated in that. It's all month long. Please make yourself aware of what breast cancer is, and the things you need to do, and things that you can do to prevent from this disease coming upon you. And last but not least, I just want to give an update on my sister-in-law, Shaniqua. Baruch Hashem, she is doing well. I would like to thank everyone for their prayers. She is in a hospital rehabilitation center, but I didn't know that patients can do this, but she can leave and come back. So her sisters and her friends have been going up to the place to get her in her wheelchair. She's been getting on the bus. She's been, last night she was out with her sisters. They went to dinner and drinks, and they'll bring her back. So as far as her healing, her stump and her leg is healing. So now it's on to, before she can do her prosthesis, she has to strengthen her body. So she has to learn to get from the bed to the wheelchair, stand up on one leg, have balance and strength. And Soraya, she is coming along.
Hallelujah.
So I'm very happy to report that. So Soraya for all this and everything.
Hallelujah.
Thanking Yah for Hayafa and her words, and thanking him for hearing and answering our prayers, and remember her sister and so many others, and healing and strengthening her, bringing her to the point where she is. May Yah continue to strengthen her and each and every one of you, your families, and may He remember us this day and throughout this season. Let us join our voices as a family and read the 24th Psalm together, and even proclaim who truly is the King of glory, for that is Yah. May he continue to place his hand in our lives in a positive way to help and strengthen us and keep us on his path, which is the right path. Let us join our voices and even read Psalms 24. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
The earth is Jehovah's and the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein. For he hath founded it upon the seas, and established it upon the floods. Who shall ascend into the mountain of Yahweh? And who shall stand in his holy place? He that hath clean hands and a pure heart, who hath not taken Yah's name in vain, and hath not sworn deceitfully. He shall receive a blessing from Jehovah, and righteousness from the power of his salvation. Such is the generation of them that seek after him, that seek thy face, even Yaakov, Selah. Lift up your heads, O ye gates, and be ye lifted up, ye everlasting doors, that the King of glory may come in. Who is the King of glory? Jehovah, strong and mighty, Jehovah, mighty in battle. Lift up your heads, O ye gates, yea, lift them up, ye everlasting doors, that the King of glory may come in. Who then is the King of glory? Jehovah of hosts, he is the King of glory. Selah. Let us rise before the King of glory. Give thanks to him for this day, his mercy, his love, kindness. I'd like to acknowledge the star of the house, leader of this community, Star Aharon. Thank God for his life. Acknowledge all the elders here. Thanking God for all of your lives and each and every one of you, brothers and sisters. Thanking God for each and every one of your lives, your presence here, and his mercy towards all of you and your families. You may be seated. This time our classes are going to be separated. Our youth, you may leave and go to your classes at your level. Our portion of study for today, that is, will be taken from the book of Deuteronomy, and we will continue in our history where we left off on last Saturday, I should say, or last Shabbat, which was in the book of Deuteronomy, the 31st chapter and the first verse. Creator, nothing that happens for Yah is a coincidence. Do not for one moment believe that the Creator caused us today to hear the words of Kamaniyah, right, and her portion, and that whole thought, and what the Morim and Cohane and even our Sar has been expressing as we begin this season in this 7th month, all being along the same thought and the same mindset. In us reflecting on our lives and considering life and considering the hand of the Creator in our lives, in this earth today, and where we stand, our place as individuals, and what we should or supposed to be doing in this return. You are not alive for no reason. You're not just here to take up space and waste time. You have a purpose, and the sooner you find it, the sooner you'll be or find yourself in connection with the Creator and spiritually in tune with his hand in this earth and what's happening. And the Creator left much here in this book. And many times we see past it because we're just listening to a reader read through it, but we don't take the time to seriously consider the words, what's being said, and how it should be applied in our lives every day. And so I'm asking you today to take a moment to just reflect on what you've heard over the past few Shabbat and what you're hearing today. Reflect on your life and consider where you are and what you and I need to do going forward in order for the Creator to embrace and accept us to be those that would represent his name in this earth. And in speaking to you on Yom Teruah, I gave a message, and the thought continues the same even in this portion. But it's one where it's more or less a thought of understanding and knowing how to move forward now after reflecting and doing a self-evaluation and considering where you are and where you need to be. We need to now consider a solution going forward. How do we fix our problems? How do we move forward and make the necessary changes that need to be made? And in this portion of study, Moshe, to some degree, was doing the very same for our people at that time. He was about to make transition, and he knew and understood that he had to put the people on a path that would gain Yah's favor. He had to put the people on a path that would keep them aligned with doing the right thing, and that would allow them to receive a blessing in their lives as opposed to a curse. He understood and knew the personality of our people, which is similar today. We have a way about us where sometimes we're stuck in our ways and we don't want to let bad habits go. But yet, as a leader, he understood and realized that he had to leave the people with something tangible that would move them, hopefully, inspire or motivate them to change their negative thought pattern if they had one, to consider life if they were doing anything wrong, and understand that there was something better here, that you could live a better life. We could get a blessing if we only chose the path of righteousness, if we only chose the path of positivity, if we only chose the path that would bring about a good result or good outcome in our lives and the lives of those around us. The portion last week ended with some really powerful words, and just a few places that I would like to reiterate, where it says, and I'll read it for myself, reader, Deuteronomy 30, the 30th chapter and the 11th verse. The Creator said here through the mouth of Moshe, he said, "For this commandment which I command thee this day is not too hard for thee, neither is it far off. It is not in heaven that thou shouldest say, who shall go up for us to heaven and bring it unto us, and make us hear it that we may do it. Neither is it beyond the sea that thou shouldest say, who shall go over the sea for us and bring it unto us, and make us hear it, that we may do it. But the word is very nigh unto thee, in thy mouth and in thy heart, that thou mayest do it." In thy heart that thou mayest do it. You have to want to do it. You have to want to make whatever changes you know you thought of and considered when we last spoke in your heart, and say, this is what I want to do. This is where I need to be. And I'm going to move to the 19th verse. It says, Yah said, "I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day, that I have set before thee life and death, the blessing and the curse. And he said to us, therefore, choose life. I want you to live, that thou mayest live, thou and thy seed, to love Yahweh thy power, to hearken to his voice, to cleave unto him. For that is thy life." Right. Understand what your life, what our lives is. "That and the length of thy days, that thou mayest dwell in the land which Yahweh thy power swore to thy fathers, Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, to give them." Our lives is to put ourselves on the path of Yah, on a path that he desires or that he sees as good morals, good personality, good character. That is our lives, and that's the path that we have to find. Our portion today, Moshe begins or continues in admonishing the people, in encouraging the people, and in sharing his last words with the people, preparing them for that day and time, which we see ourselves today in the very same place. What place is that? A place where there is so much around us. A place where there is so much negativity around us going on, and we're about to enter a new phase in our lives in this season. Just at that time, we were about to enter a new phase in our lives by going over the Jordan into the land of Canaan. We were about to enter a new season. And Moshe, throughout this portion, mentioned during the season of the tabernacles, the Feast of Booths, where the law was read and reiterated to the people, because we needed to hear something. We need to hear something to remind us of the path that we have to choose in our lives, every single one of us, and where we need to be going forward as it relates to whether or not our families and ourselves would receive a blessing or a curse. There is a power who doesn't care about your goals and objectives. He doesn't care about accumulating wealth nor the other things that you want to accumulate in life. He has his plan, and his plan, that's it. And if we don't align ourselves with his purpose and his plan, along with whatever else you're doing, you'll find yourself left out, and the Creator will have you lose your way. And so here we are, continuing in our portion of study today, where Moshe is considering the people, and he is sharing his last few words with Israel at that time, just as today we find ourselves sharing words with one another and trying to inspire and move one another to choose the right path. It begins in Deuteronomy, the 31st chapter and the first verse, and it reads,
WaYelekh Moshe v'daber et harvaim ha'Eliel chol Yisrael. And Moshe went and spoke these words unto all Yisrael. And he said unto them, I am 120 years old this day. I can no more go out and come in, as Jehovah hath said unto me. Thou shalt not go over this Jordan. Yah Elohim, he will go over before thee. He will destroy these nations from before thee, and thou shalt dispossess them. And Yehoshua, he shall go over before thee, as Jehovah hath spoken. And the Most High will do unto them as he did unto Shechem, and to Og, the king of the Amorites, and unto their lands, whom he destroyed. And Jehovah will deliver them up before you. Ye shall do unto them according to all the commandments which I commanded you. Be strong and of good courage. Fear not, nor be affrighted at them. For Jehovah thy power, he it is that doth go with thee. He will not fail thee, nor forsake thee.
Moshe realized that the Creator, when he says he's going to do something, he does it. And in spite of how many times he would beg and plead to the Most High, the Creator said, you're not going over the Jordan. He embraced that fact and realized that now my job is to prepare these people and prepare Joshua for the task at hand. And so he shared with them, listen, I'm not going over. It has become a reality to him, and he was making it clear to the people. But he also realized that the people needed to know that they had to begin to trust in the Creator. There may have been some individuals that were also really attached to Moshe. And his absence may cause them to lose their way. You cannot be too attached to a person or thing, so much so to the point where when they're gone, you lose your way, you lose your path. The Creator is showing us and made it clear that we have to put our faith, trust, energy, and drive in Him. Right. This is how we move forward in life, in spite of what we're going through or what we've dealt with. Death comes at some point in our lives. We have to get over it and deal with it. We lose loved ones because of separation. We have to move forward. How do we move forward? In trusting in the Creator. Right. In having already a relationship in Him, with Him that is, so that when something happened, you're able to realize that I can continue life and I don't feel suicidal. I don't feel like I've lost everything, so much so to the point where I can no longer function. And so Moshe said, listen, Yehoshua, he's going to be here with you, Israel. He's going to take you through it. Just like we made it through the battle with Shechem and Og and all of these other challenges. You can make it through it with this man, because I'm just a man, he's a man. When it's all said and done, there's a higher power that we all trust in, and that has to take us through any challenges that we're dealing with in our lives. And he said to them in closing in the 6th verse, be strong and of good courage. Don't be afraid. Be courageous. Trust in the Creator that He's going to take you through this process. That whatever methods you're applying to help yourself, when you trusting in Him, He's going to help you along with this procedure and this method and this system that you're putting in place so that it will be successful. That's right. This is how you trust in Him. By applying good principles and morals and things in life, and trusting that the Creator is going to help you through that process. It doesn't just happen overnight. You have to keep at it. and know that it's going to be better, and have faith and trust that it's going to be better. That's why the Creator said, fear not, nor be afraid. He said, for Yah your power, he it is that doth go with thee. He's going with you and I today.
He will not fail thee.
He's not going to fail us either, as long as we be steadfast in this. You continue to soul search and find your way. You allow your process to take place. Put methods and systems in place for yourself and stay with it. Every challenge that you deal with, that's the Creator seeing just how steadfast and real you are about what you're doing.
Strong and courageous.
And whether or not the slightest thing that come up, you're going to say, well, this is my way out. I can't do this. And you revert back to doing to your old ways, old habits. And so here now the Creator told Moshe, told the people, he said, I will not fail thee, nor forsake thee. As long as we do our part and our piece.
Okay. And Moshe called unto Yehoshua and said unto him in the sight of all Yisrael, be strong and of good courage, for thou shalt go with this people into the land which Jehovah has sworn unto their fathers to give them. And thou shalt cause them to inherit it. And Yah, he it is that doth go before thee. He will be with thee. He will not fail thee, neither forsake thee. Fear not, neither be dismayed.
Do you think it is by chance that the Creator repeated that? The Creator speaks through people, individuals such as myself, you, Kamaniyah, anyone who would stand up and share a word of advice with you, something good, positive to help you along the way. This is how the Creator communicates with us. He don't come down like they said JJ do on no cross and that's not Israelite business. That's not how things work in this earth. That's a myth. And we have to wake up to that reality and understand that we're dealing with a spiritual power who communicates with us through people around us that give us the information that we need. It's up to us now to be so attached and connected to the Creator to where we can hear the information when he's giving it to us. To where we can open up and understand that this is the Creator talking now. I need to open my mind and eyes and listen. I need to respond now because I said a prayer a few days ago and now this prayer is being answered. And this is Yah sending brother such and such, sister such and such to put a little word in my ear to help inspire me, to help motivate me, to help change me. That's what's happening here for Yehoshua and for Israel at the time. Moses was the person, the instrument, the vessel that the Creator was using to put his message out there. He uses you at times to put a message out to someone. I'm pretty sure in your life you can think of a time that the Creator gave you some good advice to share with someone. We're all vessels and instruments being used by him.
Amen.
And so in understanding that, you have to be prepared to open your ears when someone else comes to speak to you, just like you had good advice to give to someone else at some point or another. And here now, Moses is motivating Joshua because he knows that the task at hand for him is no easy challenge. Your task is no easy challenge either. That's right. Change is nothing easy, you know. Habits die hard. Whatever habits you and I have accumulated over the years of our lives will not go away overnight. We have to work at them. Work towards changing them. Work towards making positive things happen in our lives. And so here it is. Moses knows this, and he's motivating Yehoshua to be prepared for these changes that are about to take place in his life so that he can handle it. That's right. And trust in this supreme power that's there all the time, even though you can't see him. That's what makes Yah unique. That's what makes trusting in him special. Because he's not something tangible that's right in front of you that you can see. You have to know he's there. Right. You have to trust that he's there. You have to know in your heart of hearts that whatever I'm dealing with, he's going to take me through because I know what I'm doing is right. When you know you're doing right, you don't have fear. Amen. You're not afraid of what the results are going to be because he has your back.
That's right.
The only time you're concerned and worried is if you had something else going on that you know this prayer might not be answered. I got other baggage that I'm carrying. The Creator might consider me because he know I done a lot of things. But if he said himself, listen, I don't care what you've done. If you turn and change and choose this path, I'll be there for you. It's the very thing that I saw read in the book of Ezekiel last week. We have to find our way, and the Creator will help us along the way.
And Moshe wrote this Torah and delivered it to the Cohane, the sons of Levi, that bore the ark of the covenant of Yah, and sent it to the elders of Israel. And Moshe commanded them, saying, at the end of every 7 years, in the set time of the year of release, in the feast of tabernacles, called Sukkot, when all Israel is come to appear before Yah, thy power, in the place which he shall choose, thou shalt read this law before all Israel in their hearing. Assemble the people, the men, and the women, and the little ones, and thy strangers, and thy stranger that is within thy gates, and they may hear, and that they may learn, and fear the Most High, your power, and observe to do all the words of this Torah, and that their children who have not known may hear and learn to fear Yah, your power, as long as ye live in a land whither ye go over the Jordan to possess it.
The Creator told Moshe, he said, write this law and deliver it unto the priests, to the sons of Levi who bore the ark, and have them read it during a certain season. Do you know what was in that law? This was no hocus pocus weird business. This was no special Pandora's box that had to be opened and then it would do something special to all of us all of a sudden when we heard it. These were just words of encouragement, positive things that we should do in order to live good and righteous morals that people, anyone, if they live by, life would be better for them. That's what the law is about. A way of living that if we apply it, it will bring about a good result in our lives. And so the Creator told Moses, he said, read these positive things to the people during this time, so that it could open their minds and hearts to understand and evaluate themselves in their lives and determine whether or not they're following these positive morals of life, these good customs and ways that they should apply in their lives in order to bring about harmony amongst families, in order to bring about a good result as it relates to how our children communicate and talk and interact with one another. That's what the law is all about, to put it in a nutshell. And hearing these good things, like anybody who tell you positive things, you listen, oh, that sounds good. You know what? That's really good. I should apply it in my life. You reconsider and you want to do it. That's why the Creator told Moses, he said, read these words to the people around this time here. Everybody. So that everyone can hear it. Because just as in the Haftorah, Kamaniyah mentioned, the Creator said this is going to be for all peoples. This is not something just for Israel only. This law and this way, these good morals should be applied in everyone's lives. And so if you have a friend who's asking you some questions about why you're wearing those fringes, or why you do things you do, you eat the way you eat, you treat people the way you treat them on a job, people are going to ask if they see something different about you. You can share it with them. Well, you know, I have a moral way that I live. I have a certain character about me which my culture teaches me. And you go through it. Go through the basic things that could help this person, whether it's a Lavan or whomever, understand how to apply good morals and principles in their lives. And you might see them sitting right in those chairs. It might be a Chinese person. They're not drawn to come here because of any hocus pocus. They're drawn to come here because they see something good in what you're telling them. And they realize that if applying this in their life, it could bring about a change in them. That's the image that the Creator wanted us to be about. That's what the Most High wanted other nations and people to see in us. Those are the priests of the earth that the Creator put us here to be. An inspiration to others. And it reads,
And Jehovah said unto Moshe, Behold, thy days approach that thou must die. Call Yehoshua and present yourselves in the tent of meeting, that I may give him a charge. And Moshe and Yehoshua went and presented themselves in the tent of meeting. And the Most High appeared in the tent in the pillar of cloud. And the pillar of cloud stood over the door of the tent. And the Most High said unto Moshe, Behold, thou art about to sleep with thy fathers. And this people will rise up and go astray after foreign deities of the land, whither they go to be among them, and will forsake me and break my covenant, which I made with them. Then my anger shall be kindled against them in that day, and I will forsake them, and I will hide my face from them, and they shall be devoured. Many evils and troubles shall come upon them, so that they will say in that day, Are not these evils come upon us because our Elohim is not among us? And I will surely hide my face in that day for all the evil which they shall have wrought, and that they are turned unto deities.
Now, therefore, we today, just as the Creator was telling Moshe, listen, give Joshua a charge and make these people aware, because I know what they're going to do. The Creator know, in spite of whatever positive you're hearing, we just somehow always find a way back to doing the things that we were doing before. We find some way back, some way to justify what we were doing and say, well, you know, this is a different day and time. Well, you know, my situation is different. Well, you know, they don't understand what I'm going through. You think the Creator don't know all of these well you knows? You think the Creator don't know all of our different situations? Ain't nothing new under the sun. This earth been here how many thousands of years, and there were so many people here before that went through situations like yours in different day and times, different scenarios. And we always somehow think, well, I'm different, I'm special. My situation is special. The Creator knows every special soul here and your special situation. And He also knows that there is a universal method that can be applied to every situation. Only if you accept and embrace and apply it, it'll work.
Amen.
And so the Creator told Moshe, He said, tell Yehoshua, I know they're going to do what they're doing in spite of the fact that they're hearing me. But you know what's not going to change? The result. That's not going to change. So the Creator said, they can do whatever they want to do, but I'm still going to give them what they need, what they deserve if they choose that path. So in spite of all the advice that you're giving them, the good and positive and what have you, let them know that when they go wrong and they feel my hand on them, you were told.
That's right.
You were forewarned.
That's right.
That's the Creator's message every time. He always leaves us with that. Because He's gonna follow through when we choose the wrong path. And when we feel that hand and we sit down and start thinking, He wants us to remember that one part, I told you so. You know why He wants us to remember? So that we could understand His might.
Amen.
His greatness, because it's all about His name being proclaimed when it's all said and done. So if you choose right or wrong, He needs you to know that His name is going to be proclaimed. So when you choose right and you get the blessings, you're thankful. Wow, the Creator blessed me. I chose this path, and He's the power of His word. When you choose wrong and you feel those licks, you remember, wow, the Creator's the power of His word. He put His hand on me just like He said He would. Because for Him, it's all about His name and His glory. You can think what you like. For Him, that's what it's about. Bottom line, you choose right or wrong, He's still getting His praise. His name is still being glorified. That might sound real hard when you think about it in reality, but the Creator don't care how you take it, how we take it. It's bottom line. You and I have to decide how we want to live. What do we want for us? That's why the Creator said, I'll tell you what you need. Choose life. I'll give you the solution. Choose life. Choose good. Because I already know the future, and I know what it can bring about for you if you and I choose this path. And so the Creator told Yehoshua, He's telling Moshe, he said, listen, I need you to do something. You need to do something so that it can be as a reminder to the people when they choose this path. And it's something that we today need to consider and apply in our lives. And you'll see. Time sheet.
Now therefore write ye this song for you, and teach thou it to the children of Israel. Put it in their mouths, that this song may be a witness for me against the children of Israel. For when I shall have brought them into the land which I swore unto their fathers, flown with milk and honey, and they have eaten their fill, and have waxen fat, and turned unto deities, and served them, and despised me, and broken my covenant, then it shall come to pass, when many evils and troubles are upon them, that this song shall testify before them as a witness. For it shall not be forgotten out of the mouths of their seeds. For I know their imagination, and how they do, even now, before I have brought them into the land which I swore. So Moshe wrote this song the same day, and taught it to the children of Israel. And he gave Yehoshua, the son of Nun, a charge, and said, Be strong and of good courage, for thou shalt bring the children of Israel into the land which I swore unto them, and I will be with them.
What he did is, he gave Israel, he gave us a reminder. We need to give ourselves things in life that are reminders for us, that can help us to stay on course. Whatever it is, you have to find and know what your reminder is. You have to find and know what that thing is that's going to help you stay on course. Whether you write something down and put a little sticky note on your fridge, on your wall, in a little book, a journal or something. Something that's going to keep you reminded of what you want to do, what course you want to take, what path you're choosing. That's going to help you stay aligned with your purpose. That's going to help you fulfill your goals and objectives. And this is what the Creator had Moshe give to the people at that time. He said, take this as a reminder. Something that's going to help you remember when you go off track, when you lose your way, so that you can stay on course. Because he desires not to put his hand on us and curse us and punish us. He wants the best for us.
That's right.
And we have to find solutions today in a way to help us stay on course. Reminders for ourselves and little things that will keep us on course as well.
And it came to pass, when Moshe had made an end of writing the words of this law in the book, until they were finished, that Moshe commanded the Levi'im, the Levites, that bore the ark of the covenant of Yah, saying, Take this book of the law, and put it by the side of the ark of the covenant of Yehovah, your Elohim, that it may be there for a witness against thee. For I know thy rebellion, and thy stiff neck. Behold, while I am yet alive with you this day, you have been rebellious against Yehovah, and have so much, and how much more after my death. Assemble unto me all the elders of your tribes, and your officers, that I may speak these words in their ears, and call heaven and earth to witness against them. For I know that after my death, you will in any wise still corrupt me, and turn aside from the way which I commanded you. And evil will befall you in the end of days, because ye will do that which is evil in the sight of Yah, to provoke him through the work of your hands. And Moshe spoke in the ears of all the assembly of Israel the words of this song until they were finished.
And so here the thought was, have that reminder. The Creator said, give them this here reminder so that it would go with them. So that they would have something to remember when we found ourselves choosing a wayward path and going off course. And this season being a season of blowing a horn and reflecting on our lives and becoming better individuals should cause us to consider solutions. Solutions to making the necessary changes in our lives. Solutions to becoming better individuals and ridding ourselves of those things that's held us for so long and kept us on that path that wasn't the best path for us. We all have vices that we've held on to and you just can't seem to shake it. How do we go forward today and shake those vices, shake those things that are preventing us from becoming someone better? And so we have to consider baby steps and follow through with the process. And it begins where we first have to find a way to start surrounding ourselves with positive influences. Because everything begins with the mind and how we think or how we perceive things. And so we have to, if we know that we're weak in one way or another, we can't be around people that are weak as well. Or else, you won't be able to shake your habits. You won't be able to rid yourself of the things that are keeping you in that negative and bad path. And then if you are already around positive people and good influences, you have to learn to open your ears and minds to taking advice and listening so that you can start applying it in your life and bring about that change. Because some of us, we have positive influences around us. We have good people in our lives giving us good advice and there for us. We're just not taking this advice and applying it.
That's right.
And we have to find a way, if you truly want to move forward, like the Creator said, if it's in your heart, you have to see past the things that we're stuck in, our ways, and not wanting to listen and just put it aside and change your mindset. Change how we think and how we receive something that's new, that's outside of the box of what we're used to. I want us to go into a chapter in this book, the 12 Universal Laws of Success. Something for us to really consider in the whole thought of this season as it relates to change and as it relates to what we need to be doing in this season and changing our lives and bringing ourselves close to the Creator, and also in reflecting on life and what we would like to do. Some thoughts that would help us really apply principles and concepts in our lives that could help us along the way. You would more go to chapter, hold on, let me see, just to make sure I give you the right chapter. It's the Law of Change, chapter 2, in the 12 Universal Laws of Success. This chapter is about the law of change. And we're going to go to where it says the universal law of change has three fundamental aspects: faith, choice, and desire. The universal law of change has three fundamental aspects: faith, choice, and desire. It starts with faith. Faith is defined as a firm belief or trust in something or someone, generally for which there is no objective proof. It is a belief from which all doubt has to be removed. And I'm going to stop right there for a minute. Our faith is in the Creator. Understand what the explanation mentioned faith being: firm belief or trust in something or someone. This power that you can't see. How do you trust in Him? It is a belief from which all doubt has to be removed. If you have doubt that the Creator can't take you through it, then you will not make it through it. The biblical definition of faith makes it very clear. Why do they always go back to the biblical thought of faith? Because what they know, when it's all said and done, it has to do with God as they know it. The belief and trust that there is a creator, there is a power that exists, has to be the most powerful driven faith that anyone could ever conceive or apply in the whole thought and concept of faith. And when you apply that trust and thought in the Creator, that's the beginning phase of your change taking place. But the moment you have doubt in the Creator, you don't really think He could take you through it because you haven't developed or built a relationship with Him on that level where you trust in Him on that degree, then you'll always have doubt. You'll always in some way think, well, try to find your way and think that, well, this way ain't working, well, it's me, this, and this person can't help, or I don't seem to find a way, or it's something wrong with me. You keep laying the trust and the doubt and the issue elsewhere, as opposed to putting that quote-unquote faith where it belongs and moving forward with that, knowing that this power that you've put your faith, your trust in, is going to take you through no matter what. It says, in order to bring about change in your life, you must have faith that such change is possible. No matter how negative your situation, how absolutely overwhelming it may appear to be, if you have faith that things will get better, then there is something better for you in this life. Then you have taken the first step toward finding it. If you have doubts that your life can change for the better, then you're right. It can't. You must know, believe, and have total faith that you are the creation of the power head, endowed with certain inalienable rights to be healthy, happy, and totally fulfilled. This is where it is. Everything is centered around your faith. They use the word faith, your trust. Your trust and belief that this power that you can't see, is not standing in front of you, that you call yourself an Israelite and come out every day and pray to, really exists. Let's stop and start right there. Do you believe, know, or trust that this creator that you bow and face in the east to every day really exists? Because a lot of us are saying we do, but when we're challenged, we really don't, based on how we're applying things in our lives and thinking. So then you have to ask yourself, where is your true trust in the Creator? Because if you can't get past that, then that's the hurdle that you can't jump over. Because the times that you're praying, when your prayers aren't answered, are you thinking that this Creator don't exist in some small way? Are you doubting His ability to do whatever you're praying for in some small way? Because your prayer wasn't answered. Does that mean He doesn't exist? Because what you asked for, you weren't given? Is this what has so many of us in limbo as to whether or not we're putting our total faith in Him? Will your total faith be in Him when you start having every prayer that you call or ask given to you? Then you can say, well, He exists now, because every time I pray, He's giving me what I want. Now I know He exists. Is that what makes you determine whether the Creator exists or not? We have to weigh our thoughts and how we're truly putting our faith in the Creator. Based on what concept? Based on what merit? Where is your faith in the Creator? What is your foundation built on faith? Where is your foundation built on faith or trust in the Creator? Maybe you need to start praying and asking the Creator to show and teach you that. It says the second aspect of the universal law of change is choice. Choice. And it said here, choose this day whom you will serve. Joshua 24:15. But I'm going to continue. I'm not going to go there. It says every opportunity, every challenge that we experience confronts us with choice. We choose either a positive approach, flowers, they mention something nice, or a negative approach, weeds. Even if we make no affirmative choice at all, an approach is selected by the world mind, which in its cycle is generally negative. Because that's usually how we think, negative. That's the average world mind. The average person in the world thinks negative. And so, even if you decide, well, listen, I don't really know what I want to do. I'm not sure yet. A choice, something's going to happen. You're going to choose one. You're going to choose to either do it or not do it. You're going to find yourself on some path. Some path you're going to find yourself on. And usually it's the negative path because that's where the mind is. Because they say when you're around something, it becomes you. And we're in a world where there's more negativity than positivity. So that's going to find its way in your mind and in your heart somewhere along the line, in spite of how much you try to fight it. But you have to build yourself in positivity in order for that to be what you're mostly made of. That way, when those negative thoughts or whatever it is do come into your life, you can find your positive energy or makeup will overwhelm it. And you'll have the strength to see past doing that wrong thing and continue in the right path. In order for you to change your life for the better, you must affirmatively identify and specifically define what a better life means to you.
Right.
And you must choose to pursue this better life you have defined for yourself and make the changes in your thinking and acting that will bring it about. This is how it goes. And so, where we are today, where our minds are today, where your mind is today, we have to ask ourselves, how are we thinking? We're saying we want to change, but have we truly embraced it, and are we moving on that path? I want to move to page 57, where it says the third aspect of the universal law of change is desire. Desire. Because first, you have to have faith or trust in this power. Secondly, you have to make a choice. That listen, this trust in this power, this is something that I want to do. I'm not being forced to do this. Are you only doing this because I'm standing here telling you to do this? Because of the Yahima, your Abba, your aunt or Doda, whoever telling you all these good things, and you realize what they saying is right, you know. What they really saying is right, I need to do it. Or is it your choice to do this? Because if you've gotten past the first phase, which is faith and you're trusting the Creator, but you're still trying to cross the hurdle of choice, then you can't get to the final level. Because you still haven't made the choice yet. You still haven't decided that this is what you want to do. You're only doing it because other people are telling you it's what needs to be done. After choosing to do it, then you have to have a desire. Because you may say, I want to do something, and you're choosing to do it, but you're just going through the motion. Yeah, whatever. They told me to be humble. I'm trying to be humble. How many people you hear say that? Somebody tell them something, I'm trying to be humble. I'm trying to do what's right. They don't have a true desire to. You have to really have a desire, a burning desire in your heart of hearts to do what's right. So even though you're doing it by choice, you really want to do this. So when that person is cursing you out, you walk away. I'm not doing this because I know my burning desire don't want me to say nothing back. I'm trying to change in my heart of hearts. And I have a burning desire to change. And I'm not just doing it because other people are telling me, or I'm going through the motions doing it. I really want to do this. In my heart of hearts, this is my desire to do this.
Okay.
And so it says the key ingredient for change is desire. Burning desire. You heard what I remember I said earlier? Burning desire. It's in your heart. You want to do this so bad that you're prepared to do whatever it takes to change. Like when you really want something, you go all out to get it. That's what a true desire is. Burning desire. Unless there is a deep hunger, a burning desire for the changes you want to bring about in your life, these changes what? Will not happen. You're wasting your time. How do you find the burning desire? Let's put a pause for a minute. One way that you find a burning desire is by reflecting on what you continue to deal with. The fact that you dislike your existing condition. You dislike your existing state. You dislike the fact that you have to go through this and that you're holding this piece inside that you know you need to and want to get rid of. Whatever it is. You know what's yours. We all have our skeletons. We know what they are. Your burning desire, if you can't find it for yourself, has to be your love and faith in the Creator. Because some of us, that becomes your burning desire. You're so attracted to doing this negativity, but nothing else can deter you from doing it or deter you from doing it. And so, in your heart of hearts, even though you want to, you to yourself have already made up your mind and created a picture for yourself and understanding for yourself that there's nothing wrong with this. But when you weigh it before the Creator, you know it's not right. That has to become your burning desire. To change it, to stop doing it. Then the Creator is going to ask the question, if you cannot stop doing it, do you truly have a love and desire to serve and praise me? Because if He and your love and desire to praise and serve Him and do what's right before Him cannot move you to do what's right, what is the purpose of your existence to Him? You see how the Creator weighs life and how He operates? For Him, if there's no greater burning desire for you to change for Him, then He's asking Himself, I'm pretty sure, what need and desire is there for me to keep you here? Or to help you, to answer your prayers, to take you through whatever you're going through. Because you can't even find it in your heart of hearts, even though you can't do it for yourself, you can't do it for me, who's the power that created you. Why should I keep you here? Why should I answer your prayers when you praying to me? Why should I help you even though you can't do it for yourself? Because some of us really can't find our way. We don't even know ourselves. The Creator saying, well, you need to know me. You need to know me. Because I'm the one that can help you find yourself and everything else that you and I need. Now you see why He's the solution to all our problems. Because when you can't find that burning desire to do it for yourself, you do it for Him. Because you've built and developed a relationship and attachment to Him to the point where you're prepared to do anything for Him, even if you can't do it for you or for no one else. That's how when you just have a way about you where you can't, you feel like, I want to tell this person off, and it ain't the right thing to do, but you really want to tell them off because of what they did, you do it because the Creator wouldn't want you to do it. That's how we see past those hurdles that we can't cross as human beings with the relationship that we've built and developed with Him. That's why He said, meditate in this day and night. You need to understand me. You need to build a relationship with me because I'm your solution past the answers that you don't have for yourself, in spite of how wise you are, in spite of how many degrees you have when you go to college, in spite of the fact that you have a doctorate or you were as wise as Solomon. We saw the decisions that he made. We always, if you don't find yourself attached and connected to this spiritual power, you can lose your way. That's where Solomon lost his way, when he disconnected his spiritual connection with the Creator, when it was disconnected. And it's how anyone, no matter how smart, wise, or intelligent you are, you will lose your path. Now we see why the Creator said, hey, I am your life. Choose life, choose me. Because I'm the one that's going to take you through life and everything that you deal with in life. And it says here, once upon a time, in a place not far away, a little story they're going to give us. A diligent student questioned his master's teachings on the meaning of deep desire. The teacher took the eager student down to the ocean and walked out into the water until it was nearly chest high. He then took the student and held his head under water for almost a minute. As the student began to struggle, craving for air, the teacher continued to hold him firmly under the water until the young student's body became limp. Then within seconds of drowning the student, the teacher pulled his head up out of the water as he gasped for a life-saving breath of air. The teacher then said, you must desire the change in your life as strongly as you wanted to take the first breath. That is deep desire. Yes, sir. Just like you wanted to take that first breath, your life depended on it. Now you rose up, gasping for air. Just as bad as you wanted that breath, that's how bad your desire has to be to change. That's some real talk. You want to talk real? That's real talk. You would have done anything to get out of there from dying. Just as bad as you wanted that first breath, that's how bad you have to want to change. And if you ain't there yet, then change ain't there yet either. And as I said, how do you find your way there? You have to want to do it so bad for the Creator that you do it even though you really don't want to do it for you. Now you have to ask yourself, is my relationship there with the Creator yet to where I really want to do it that bad for Him? And if it's not, you need to work on your relationship with Him. If it's not, now you need to really start considering where you stand as an Israelite. Are you an Israelite first, or are you an American, Guyanese, Trinidadian, Jamaican first? Are you truly in this way of life, or are you about a different way of life? There are a lot of ways of life out there, you know. Which way of life are you about? We always say this is a culture, a way of life. We like to tell the Christians that. I'm not in a religion. This is a way of life. This is a culture for me. Are you living this way of life? Is this truly a culture for you? Did I just shake your foundation on where you stand in your relationship with the Creator? Because if I did, you need to go home and say some prayers. You got some questions to answer for yourself. And where you stand with your relationship with Him. Because there should be no greater thing to make you want to do what you need to do than Him. If you can't do it for Him, then you need to ask yourself, what am I here for? Because the Creator said, this is thy life. Amen. I am your life. So loving me and being prepared to do whatever it takes for me should be your life. And if something is bothering you so bad when you doing it because you know it ain't right by the Creator, that's your answer, that you really want to do it for Him. Because sometimes, in spite of it all, you might really want to do something, but there's a habit about you that's causing you not to do it. But whenever you do that wrong, a yearning desire in the back of your head, this wasn't right. The Creator wouldn't like this. Really, He knows you love Him, and you do have a desire and a love for Him. But you have to find a way around having these other things change you away, turn you away from following your true burning desire, which is to do right by Him. So don't beat up on yourself and feel like, you know what? I'm all lost. I don't even love the Creator. Don't feel that. Because if in your heart of hearts, when you got through doing that wrong, you really felt hard and bad, because you knew I didn't do right by the Creator by doing this. It means somewhere deep down inside you, you have a love and a desire for him to do right. Now you have to find that place that's going to make you act on it and apply it when it's needed and necessary, as opposed to allowing whatever happened around you to take you outside of your Yah element. I say your Yah element because that's your true element in place. And we really want to know why the Creator told us, get rid of them Canaanites. He didn't want us living around it. Today we living around a lot of Canaanites out here. We have to find a way to live in this and still allow Yah to be our shield and what we're engulfed in, his way and his path. And going forward, the Creator, this power that we have to put our faith, our trust in, is our only solution to handling and dealing with what we're dealing with today in this earth. And so, in giving you solution to what I mentioned in my talk the last time, this is your solution. This is our solution. Because we up here cannot give you, tell you, or show you, or even ourselves, our flaws, and not give solutions on how to fix them. This is what we stand here to help, not just you. My words strengthen and help me. Their words help and strengthen me when they come up here and talk. I reflect on what they're saying and apply it in my life. When Kamaniyah came up here and spoke, she had something to give to me, just like you do on some days when I talk to you. Us standing here don't make us special and no different from you. We're all human beings that's helping one another. And when you give me a piece of information to apply in my life that I didn't consider, I have to apply it and take it because it's helping me. It's the Creator speaking to me through you. Right. Just like it's me speaking to you, speaking just like it's the Creator using me to speak to you at this time. And it's what he used us all for. Iron sharpens iron. Steel sharpens steel. We strengthen and help one another along this process. You come to me. I may come to you for a piece of advice because you're better in that field than I am. And that's where the Creator's using you to help me. We all have different attributes and different things that we're good at. And we have to use one another and apply that. And the Creator's here. He has put this group together and everybody in your life to give you a little piece of information to reconnect you with him. Yah is awesome. He's great. He's merciful. And he continues to be there for us. Even if you don't see it, he's there. We have to open our eyes and see his hand in our lives, his hand in this earth. And may he remember us in this season. May he motivate, inspire, move, drive, strengthen us to trust in him, love him, and never give up or lose faith in him. Because he is that power, that rock, that source of all of our salvation. Amen. If you would do y'all the honor of standing. The Holy One of Israel, grant each and every one of you a special blessing according to the words of this blessing found in Numbers, the 6th chapter and the 24th verse. This power that we serve, Yahweh by name, eternal, he has the power to bless. Trust and know that he can and will bless each and every one of you according to the words of this blessing. Yivorek ka Yehovah v'yishmoreka.
Ken Yehiratson.
Ya'ir Yehovah panayo eleka wikuneka.
Ken Yehiratson.
Yisa Yehovah panayo eleka v'yasim leka shalom.
Ken Yehiratson.
Yehovah will bless thee and keep thee. Yehovah will cause his face to shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee.
Maybe your will.
Yehovah will lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace.
Hallelujah.
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 Yokai.
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 Yokai. Selah. Tailbone the camp having hearty appetite. Services will resume at 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock.
Pray for. Pray for. Okay, stop.